one of the issues that I've seen in several countries is that the infrastructure is not really very sound. You get to the point where, you know, when your domain cannot be apparent 24/7, 365, I guess that is of concern, you know, to users. This session was basically about putting to the community a study that is being done for 5 countries in the East African region. Quite a few ccTLDs really have difficulties operating either technically or administratively or both, in fact. So what were the reasons why that infrastructure is not working well? How can we make it better? Can we get more input from the other sub-regions or people from the region, or even internationally? As you've seen, we had people from outside the region who actually reacted to give a few inputs.
Why don't we use the servers or the same resources which is used to control the ccTLD in Egypt to be a backup for maybe ccTLD in Kenya? Why can't we do that?
Africa is one of the places where the internet came late because we did not have connectivity. And because we did not have connectivity, most of the region did not know that, you know, internet was there. And a lot of people still do not know that they actually have a country code that it can be used as opposed to, you know, something else. And this also comes from the fact that even when the instrument is at home, the CC is at home, it's, for example, housed in institutions that do not have the means to really make it grow. It's housed in universities. Universities in general on our continent are, you know, parastatal universities. So they basically what they get as subsidies is not enough to run their proper operations, not to mention running, you know, the internet architecture.
And the internet is very, very expensive in DRC, I can tell you. And then that's where we need to involve the government.
Maybe the role of government should be really very limited, and it should be only regulated, basically just like keeping the peace. The last 6 months, I was actually helping the Somali government and the Ministry of Telecommunication, trying to get the .o ccTLD up and running. So it was through that experience that I learned about what was happening in that space, what was happening in the ccTLDs in Africa and AFTD and so on. So my background is from universities. I actually work at Melbourne University in Melbourne, Australia. So I realized there is a room for improvement, basically what's happening in that space in Africa. There's not a lot of awareness. There's more reliance on governments. In my case, to put it blindly, I'm a liberal Democrat. I'm a believer in the market. So I'm trying to push the idea that says, look, let the competition win, become a competitor, the customers will come. If you can provide good service, they will come. If I want to buy a book in Nairobi today, it's quicker to buy it from Amazon.com than from a bookshop downstairs. And that's precisely my example. Become a competitor, provide good service, make it cheaper, people will come.
They really need strengthening by both the government as well as ICANN can also look into that, because at the moment most people are using the yahoo.fr and all that. They're not really having pride in their own ccTLD. So there's a lot more to be done in that sector so that they can strengthen the ccTLD.
It's basically a fact that they're not recognized as an architecture that can be beneficial. Now, in fact, at the latest heads of states in January that happened in Addis Ababa, it was recognized officially that ccTLDs are actually national resources, and, you know, countries and governments are required basically and encouraged to make them work properly, because they do realize that the internet is really, just like Rod was saying yesterday, you know, can be a model, you know, a tool basically to get sustainable development.
The internet itself, though, is perhaps the most sustainable platform for development, like microlending that builds up small businesses and gives so many people an opportunity to lift themselves. The internet is an incredible tool. There will be 5 presidents of African countries here in the building tomorrow. And those leaders are coming together in part to discuss security and very, very pressing security issues in East Africa. I would now like to invite the leaders that are at the other conference here, the IGAD event, to link the traditional work of development and now security, which is important in East Africa, together with the internet.
So it's really about fostering a nice, sound regulation framework in all the countries. Like some of the people in this room were saying, we want government to be part of it, but we don't want them there heavy-handed. They need to be there to enable us to do, the work and get it done.